Tu Mamá También is a 2001 Mexican movie directed by Alfonso Cuarón, known for directing the critically acclaimed kids movie Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. He also directed critically acclaimed grown-up movies like Gravity and Roma. So Cuarón isn't exactly an indie unknown director. It was this movie though, Tu Mamá También or And Your Mother Too, that brought him into limelight. So let's get into it. Before I start talking about the movie, I want to just say something. This movie is entirely in Spanish, and I'm not Spanish. I'm not a Spanish person, so there are some names I will not pronounce well. That is, I'm not trying not to pronounce it well. I'm just not Spanish, so please just bear with me, okay? So let's just start now. This movie gets off to a wild start as we are thrown straight into a sex scene. I know Mexicans like to get freaky, but this is my first impression of you. Calm down. There's a narrator in this movie. Of course there is. I can't escape. We go to the next scene and there's another sex scene. This is getting ridiculous. I'm going to start the counter now. Eventually, learn about these characters. Tenok and Julio are best friends, and their girlfriends are going away for overseas education. They drive back from the airport and complain about protesters causing a traffic jam. You know, your normal typical dumb teenager stuff. Out of nowhere, the narrator comes in with this.
Ese mismo día hubo 3 manifestaciones en distintos lugares de la ciudad. Sin embargo, el embotellamiento que los detenía había sido provocado por un peatón atropellado, Marcelino Escutia, un albañil inmigrado de Michoacán. Marcelino fue alcanzado por un pecero que conducía con exceso de velocidad. Nunca usó el puente peatonal más cercano porque su mala ubicación lo hacía caminar 2 kilómetros más a la construcción donde trabajaba. Su cuerpo fue recogido por la Cruz Verde y llevado sin identificación al servicio médico forense. Tardó 4 días en ser reclamado.
A popular love movie is the show, don't tell, which basically means tell your story through visual means instead of exposition dumps. The narrator just gave the most blatant info dump I've ever seen, and yet it doesn't feel forced. It's so weirdly amazing. They go to Tenok's house, and apparently Tenok's father is a water politician, the Secretary of State in fact. Tenok wants to be a writer, but his father wants him to study economics. His father said if he doesn't study economics, he will seize his car. Oh my god, wow, oh my god. The boys then plan to cheat on their girlfriends at the party later that day. Their girlfriend just traveled that afternoon, mind you. It doesn't work though, as he fails to get any action at the party. I get that they are hormonal teenagers, but A week later, the boys attend one of Tenok's relatives' wedding. It's an highbrow affair. Even the president is there. Tenok meets Jano, his cousin who he hasn't seen in 10 years. After that, Tenok and Julio proceed to hit on Jano's wife, Luisa. Luisa tells them that she's meaning to go to the beach, and Tenok and Julio lie about planning to go on a road trip to a secluded beach called Heaven's Mouth. They invite Luisa, and she turns them down, obviously. They reach another insane scene where Tenok and Julio are they are wanking together across a pool. Luisa goes to the doctor for a test, and we see her sad in their room afterwards. Jano calls her drunk to tell her that he slept with another woman, and Luisa breaks into tears. She calls Tenok and asks if the invitation is still valid, and Tenok says yes. There are 2 problems though. Number 1, the beach and even the trip don't exist. Number 2, they told Luisa that they planned on going on that day and completely forgot about it. So Tenok and Julio hastily buy supplies, negotiate with Julio's sister for her car, and meet with their friend Saba, who shows them a secluded beach on a map. They pick up Luisa and set off. 2 dumb teenagers and a housebroken woman on the road trip. On the road, Tenok and Julio entertain Luisa with their stories, and I'll say this, the chemistry between the 3 of them was exceptional. In the evening, they stop, and as they were eating, the boys quiz Luisa about her relationship with Jano, and when they ask her what she has in common with him, she says this.
Él no tiene padre y yo soy huérfana, por ejemplo. Su madre realmente es tan castrante como la tía con la que yo vivía. Fue horrible. La verdad que esos 5 años que la estuve cuidando, pobrecita.
This reminds me of this narrator info dump earlier.
Con frecuencia, Luisa acompañó a Jano a cenas con artistas e intelectuales, en las cuales nunca se sintió integrada.
Putting 2 and 2 together, you can probably guess that their marriage wasn't really built on solid ground in the first place. They lodge at an hotel. Luisa takes 1 room, and the boys take the other. The boys get this funny ha 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 idea to spy on Luisa. They see her crying and immediately leave. The next day, the boys set out again, and during the trip, Mr. Narrator hits us with this from nowhere.
Si hubieran pasado por este mismo lugar 10 años antes, se habrían topado con un par de jaulas tiradas sobre el pavimento. Luego habrían cruzado por una nube de plumas blancas. 5 metros después, una pila de jaulas destrozadas con gallinas sangrantes, aleteando agónicas. Y más adelante, un camión volteado, echando humo. Al rebasarlo, habrían visto 2 cuerpos tirados, inertes, uno más pequeño, mal cubiertos por una chamarra, y una mujer desconsolada llorando a su lado.
What does this have to do with anything? In the night, they stop again and lodge in another hotel, and the boys run out of shampoo. Tenor goes to Luisa's room to borrow some, and yeah, Julio sees them, and according to the narrator,
Julio no podía explicar lo que sentía. Sabía que no era furia. Esa punzada justo arriba del estómago solo la había sentido a los 8 años de edad, cuando una noche se despertó con sed y al ir por agua sorprendió a su madre en los brazos de su padrino, en la sala de su casa. En esa ocasión, Julio se retiró en silencio y nunca mencionó el episodio a persona alguna.
Tenor comes over to Julio, and Julio reveals that he had sex with Tenor's girlfriend. What? Where do I even...
Tenoch solo había sentido esa punzada justo arriba del estómago a los 11 años de edad, cuando vio fotografiado a su padre en un periódico que lo involucraba en un fraude de importación de maíz contaminado, destinado a las clases populares. Tenoch y su familia salieron del país a radicar en Vancouver por 8 meses. Tenoch nunca cuestionó el porqué de la mudanza.
Thanks, man. The next day, they go out again, and Luisa, feeling the obvious tension in the air, decides for some reason the best course of action is to have sex with Julio while Tenok is driving. Tenok angrily stops the car and storms off, but that doesn't stop them from. Tenok comes back and they continue driving, and Tenok reveals that he had sex with Julio's girlfriend. Julio gets angry and they start screaming at each other. Luisa has had enough of them, and she carries her luggage and walks off in the middle of nowhere. Tenok and Julio come to a temporary truce and beg Luisa to enter the car, and she agrees, but on multiple conditions. Number 1, she won't have sex with them again. Number 2, she doesn't want anybody picking at her again. Number 3, she picks the music. Number 4, she doesn't want any fights. Number 5, they'll cook from now on. Number 6, no more stories about their girlfriends. Number 7, they should stay 10 years away from her at all times. Number 8, they'll do all the manual labor. Number 9, they should not talk at all. Number 10, they should not argue with her. This seems like an overkill, to say the least. And in case you've forgotten, this was a trip that they lied about just to woo her in the first place. So it's not really working out for them. As the narrator reviews immediately,
Era claro que Julio y Tenoch no tenían idea de dónde estaban, ni cómo llegar a un destino que desconocían. Las direcciones dadas por el Saba se contradecían una con la otra.
to make things worse, the car gets stuck in the sand. Julio stops the car, gives up, and they sleep. The next day, Luisa wakes up to find out that they're actually on the beach. That's mad. It feels anticlimactic though, as everybody immediately sets up their own space. The vibes are already ruined. We meet a fisherman named Tree and his family, who sells them food and offers to escort them to the beaches where everyone are. He takes them on a boat tour and he shows them one beach that's great for swimming called the Heaven's Mouth. Full circle. Eventually, they all reconcile and enjoy the beaches together. Everyone seems happy. What was that? You have something to say, Mr. Narrator?
Para fines de año, Chuy y su familia tendrán que abandonar su hogar cuando comience la construcción de un hotel exclusivo sobre terrenos ejidales de San Bernabé. Se mudarán a las afueras de Santa María Colotepec. Chuy intentará dar servicio de lancha para turistas, pero será bloqueado por el grupo de lancheros agremiados, recién llegados de Acapulco, favorecidos por el Consejo Local de Turismo. 2 años después terminará como empleado de limpieza del hotel. Jamás volverá a pescar.
Fair enough, we can't have nice things, I suppose. Chi rents them a room near the beaches, and Luisa calls Jano and tells him that she always knew he was a cheat, but she hoped he would change. She tells him that he's the love of her life and he might not understand why she left, but she's trying to be happy. She hangs up and breaks into tears. The 3 of them go to a bar and the vibes are back like he never left. I can't share any of that conversation because they are extremely graphic what they say, but I have to show you this part.
Tu mamá también.
No mames.
¿Qué?
Wow, you see the movie name. Wow, oh my god, wow. Luisa plays a song on the jukebox and she dances together with Tenok and Julio. I went to listen to the song and apparently it's an extremely tragic song. So why are they dancing to it? From this point, you can probably guess what happens next. All of them together. Yes, even Tenok and Julio kiss. The next morning, Tenok and Julio wake up horrified at what they did and act awkward around each other. Luisa tells them that she's staying behind, and they go home on a quiet, uneventful trip, according to the narrator. In fact, let the narrator just take over for this part.
Y muy silencioso. Sus familias no se enteraron de que su viaje fue a la playa, ni de la compañía de Luisa. Ella se quedó en San Bernabé para comenzar al día siguiente su exploración por las bahías de la zona. Al despedirse de Tenoch y Julio, Luisa les dijo: la vida es como la espuma, por eso hay que darse como el mar. Al regresar de Europa, Ana y Cecilia terminaron sus relaciones con Tenoch y Julio. 2 meses después, Tenoch comenzó un noviazgo con su vecina. A Julio le tomó 9 meses comenzar a salir con una compañera de su clase de francés. Julio y Tenoch dejaron de frecuentarse. Al verano siguiente, el partido oficial perdió las elecciones presidenciales por primera vez en 71 años. Julio se encontró a Tenoch de camino al dentista. Sentarse a tomar un café resultó menos incómodo que las excusas para evitarlo.
They reminisce about their old life and friends. Tenok reveals he's going to study economics after all. He also tells Julie that Luisa had cancer during their trip and died a month after they left. Tenok leaves, and the narrator reveals,
Nunca volverán a verse.
wow, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen, and I'm being serious. Where do I even start? The acting. Everyone in this movie brought their A game into this. My personal favorite performance was from Luisa, but Tenok and Julie also had very strong performances as well. The visuals, every scene is masterfully shot. I'm not really the type of person to notice camera stuff that much, but a lot of scenes blew me away. Something like making the camera closer when their group is close knit and farther when it's apart. It's so simple, it works so well. Nice shots like this happen throughout the movie. Narrating style. It threw me off at first, but the more I watched it, the more I got into it. Like I said earlier, the narrator is essentially giving you added information about the characters and the story to contextualize some things. And normally, I find this kind of things irritating. But for some reason, it just works here. I don't know why, but it does. There are a lot of themes that explode in this movie very well. The theme of change, for example. Starting with Tenok and Julio's girlfriends leaving, to Jano and Luisa's marriage ending essentially, to the end of the reign of the ruling party, and even the end of Tenok and Julio's friendship. Change is constant in this movie. There are also themes of politics and class division, and themes of tragedy and loss. Something I didn't notice until my second viewing of this movie are the signs pointing to Luisa's inevitable death. During the trip, she sees a doll of a dead girl with her name on it, and she's dancing to a tragic song at the end of the movie. Lastly, I want to talk about the vibes. The chemistry between Tenok and Julio was very infectious, and Luisa added to it as well. A lot of the road trip was just them talking about inane stuff, but the conversations were so enjoyable, the vibes were just perfect. So yeah, this movie is great. I highly recommend it. There are more things I can say about the movie, but I'll end it here. Thank you for watching this video, and bye bye.